being a real man is a scam. I want to talk about traditional gender roles in society and how commonly we think or we're told that, the women really get the short end of the stick on that one. But in my opinion, the traditional gender role where the woman stays home with her family and, does the tasks of the house like cleaning and cooking and whatnot. Um, I think I speak for a lot of people when I say that, like, that lifestyle versus what the man is expected to do in that situation, which is to grind his ass off and work all day. Um, some people will be mad when I say this, but in my opinion, the men get the short end of the stick on that one. Like, I would much rather stay at home all day and do the cooking and cleaning, because if you know anything about cooking and cleaning, it's that, if you stay ahead of it, it's not, like, I'm sorry, but it's not a 9 to 5 job. There's a lot of relaxation that you can have if you're a stay-at-home uh, spouse in a relationship. Now, once you bring kids into the mix, that can add additional stress for both parties, obviously. That's part of a different discussion, though, in my opinion, because, you can, whether you choose to have kids or not, that's like its own thing in my book. But yes, to acknowledge that the woman does get a little more work once they have to stay at home with a baby, at least for the first couple years of its development. That definitely adds like a whole extra dynamic for both parents, really. But, that's neither here nor there, in my opinion. The point here is that being a real man, as society will tell you to, is actually kind of one of the biggest scams. And we're getting to that point in late stage capitalism, or whatever you want to call it, where even women who are career driven women, the opposite of the stay at home housewife or whatever, even they're saying, hey, this shit sucks, man. This shit fucking blows. They did they went down the path to, be the female breadwinner, the independent woman, and they eventually realized too that, hey, this shit is a scam. It's exploitative. I'd rather stay at home. And I certainly can't blame them. This shit sucks. But the thing is there's more to the societal expectation of being a real man than just simply going to a 9 to 5 job every day. Although that's a big part of it. You're certainly expected to grind your life away in either a cubicle or some kind of blue collar profession that pays at least, like a livable wage or whatever. But it's also a scam. The societal expectation is a scam in a number of ways other than that too. It's like you're expected to die for God and country, that, like, and we're starting to realize with all this Epstein stuff and fucking every rich person is a Diddy. We know that now. Every rich person is basically an Epstein. And, the trope of being a real man and going to die for God and country is just clearly such a hoax now. We know that the only thing that you're going to die for if you join the military is rich people and their wars, is Lockheed Martin and the military industrial complex. is a bunch of rich Israeli motherfuckers. Do you really want to throw away your life for Israel, Lockheed Martin, and a bunch of rich pedophiles? Because society would have you believe that that's what you have to do sometimes in order to be considered a real man. And, well, that seems like bullshit. And I would say that even on a more metaphysical level, that's how they ensnare you back into the loosh farm or the cycle of samsara or whatever you want to call it in your belief system. It's how they drag you back in to the cycle of consumption and desire, and you know that's how they keep you wanting. You have to do this to be a real man. You have to be a real man in order to be attractive to women or whatever. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I don't want this to sound like just some bitter rant about society's expectations on us. It's more to it than that, because the idea that you have to be attractive, the idea that you have to be a real man in order to be attractive, and you have to do all these responsible things or whatever. Well, we know that's just not true as like a as a way to look cool and attractive as a dating strategy or whatever, because oftentimes it ends up being like the biggest dirtbag, scumbag, loser pieces of shit. I'll be honest, I'd seen some of the dudes that get with the hottest women are like scumbag twink drug dealer guys who are scrawny as shit. They're tatted, they have long hair, they probably smoke a shitload of weed. Nothing against you, by the way, if that's a description that fits you. It kind of fits me even. Like, I mean, I don't have tattoos, but I'm lean and I have long hair, so some people could easily confuse me for a dirtbag stoner or whatever. My only point is that, like, it's not necessarily the clean cut all American family man who wins, at least certainly not in this society that we have created for ourselves. And I would argue that even if you went back to the 1950s, that wasn't entirely the case. Oftentimes the dirt bags got the girls. When the big men were away at war, it was the hippie conscientious objector that was staying home and sleeping with all the women while they protested against the war. And to further that point about Lockheed Martin and Israel and the military-industrial complex, say what you will about the dirtbag hippie who stayed home and slept with everybody's wives, but at the end of the day, ideologically, I would say they were right. We didn't need to be in Vietnam. What the fuck were we doing in Vietnam? Just like Iraq. What the fuck are we doing in Iraq? Oh, we're killing a bunch of people who are indigenously living there, who have a right to live there. We're killing them because we want our oil prices to go down. Yeah. That sounds like an ethical cause. That sounds like dying for God and country in defense of the country. Yeah, that's what you're doing when you go over to join the Marine Corps and become a real man. That's what you're doing. No, but I don't know. I guess the point of this rant was to say that, like, I guess in summary, it's like it's just a big scam. Like, they're just trying to draw you back in. You guys let me know what you think. Am I full of shit? Is there really some merit to all this? But I don't think so. But anyway, till next time.